Symphony of the Seas is an Oasis-class cruise ship with Royal Caribbean. Its maiden voyage was in April of 2018. Its length is 1,184 feet. Its max beam is 215 feet. Its height is 238 feet. It is a 228,000 gross ton cruise ship with a cruising speed of 22 knots. Symphony has a capacity of 5,518 at double capacity and a crew of 2,200. I hope you enjoy this deck-by-deck tour of Symphony of the Seas. It is Cruise Fever here, and we had a chance to go on the inaugural cruise of Symphony of the Seas out of Miami. In this video, we're going to go deck by deck, starting at the top decks and working our way down in what is currently the world's largest cruise ship. There are 3 water slides on Symphony of the Seas. Together, they are known as the Perfect Storm. You go up a spiral staircase, as you can see right there on your right, to get to the top there. One of the water slides, as you see, ends in what's called a champagne bowl, where you swirl around a few times, then go down another tunnel, which ends in a splash, and the other 2 are kind of racing water slides. Water slides are usually open from 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. There are 3 good-sized pools on the pool deck of Symphony of the Seas. Right here is the main pool with a whirlpool on each side of it. Plenty of loungers all around. This is in the forward side of the ship, and across the way on the starboard side is the beach pool. The beach pool has loungers that have the water from the pool kind of go right up to it from the first or second row of loungers. On a ship with over 5,000 people, one concern can be loungers being available, especially on a sea day. But because of the layout, there's a lot of loungers on deck 16 as well, right above the pool deck, so it wasn't really an issue on the ship. This is the sports pool, where they would play water volleyball and other sports, or just a regular pool. There are lifeguards on duty, by the way, when the pools are open. This is Splashaway Bay, the kid area. And if you go up one deck from the pool deck to deck 16, that is where you will find the Windjammer, the buffet on Symphony of the Seas, a nice hand washing station there. Plenty of free drinks available, like lemonade and flavored water. That was either strawberry, they had mango flavor some days. And those Coke machines are for those with the beverage package. You can get your own sodas right from the machine there. Because of the many food options on Symphony of the Seas, the buffet didn't really seem that crowded. Here we have Mongolian Corner, where you pick out what meats and vegetables you want, and they'll cook it right in front of you. And you can see some of the other selections from the buffet here. From the back of the buffet, you can see the sports deck. We're going to look at that in just a minute, but first, while we're on deck 16, we're going to go forward just a little bit and look at hooked seafood. This dining option overlooks the solarium. It costs about $40 per person. Has kind of a New England style seafood, a casual environment as you see here, but a really nice clean layout. And there you see the solarium, which we're going to look at in more detail in just a bit. And we're back to the sports deck, and here you see the really nice mini golf area on the ship that was pretty busy throughout. They did a really good job with the design of the mini golf, but you always have great views from this area as well all around you. And right next to that we have the zip line. Make sure you check your cruise compass to know what times it's open. I believe it closes before supper just about every day. There are 2 flow riders on Symphony of the Seas, one on each side. One is for bodyboarding, as you see here, and the other side is for the stand-up variety. They do have lessons, even private lessons, if you'd like to pay a little extra to hone your craft and get really good at flow riding. A lot of people just enjoy sitting in the bleachers they have there and enjoying the free show as well. There is a place to get something to drink between the flow riders for those hot days. It can get really hot up there on the sports deck. And right now we're going to look at the Ultimate Abyss, the waterless slide on Symphony of the Seas. It is a lot of fun. You get in those mats and you slide all the way down 10 stories. And they've added some lights and sounds as you go down to make it even more exciting. So it is a lot of fun to try, and it's a lot more fun than taking the elevator from the sports deck all the way down to the boardwalk. So try the Ultimate Abyss. The basketball court, or sports court, was always pretty busy during the cruise. They have basketball, of course, and soccer and dodgeball. Just make sure you wear sneakers. You can't wear flip-flops or be barefoot on the court. El Loco Fresh is a free dining option. It's right next to all the fun stuff on the sports deck. That's open for breakfast and lunch. They have tacos, burritos, quesadillas, You get chips and queso, and they have all kinds of desserts that you see here. And they also have a little station where you can make your own dip with some pico de gallo and guacamole. Really enjoyed this dining option on Symphony. Have a few ping pong tables right outside of the teen area, and this is the living room for teens. They have some gaming and other things that they can do there. There's fuel right next to it. It's kind of behind it. I don't really have any shots of that, but it's in the same area of the ship right near the sports court. There are 2 arcades on Symphony of the Seas. There's another one on the boardwalk, but this is the larger one right on the sports deck there on deck 15. By the way, on either side of this, there are 2 ice cream stations. Right outside the arcade, these vending machines allow you to get pretty much anything that you forgot: lotion, toothpaste, sunscreen. You can use it with your card or my watch that you can get for $5. I'll talk about that in a minute as well. You can also charge your phone, type in a little code, charge it, doesn't cost anything, and so you can come back after swimming or whatever and your phone's fully charged. These are the iconic cantilevered whirlpools on either side of the ship. Tons of room, just beautiful views from here. And now we're going to check out the solarium forward on the ship. You do have to be 16 years or older to be in the solarium, so many adults appreciate that, so you can get some peace and quiet. It is a large, spacious, beautiful solarium. That artwork there you see in the middle is called the Big Wonder. It is beautiful in the day and at night. You have 2 whirlpools above, and then you have halfway down the steps you have another beautiful whirlpool or hot tub, and this has the glass walls, so you even underwater, I guess, if you want to hold your breath, you can still appreciate the views. Nice waterfall underneath it. And like I said, plenty of loungers. It's always nice and warm and quiet, one of my favorite parts of the ship. On either side of the solarium, you have an area where you can walk outside, and that little platform goes out over the side of the ship, so you can really see the ship a little bit better and take in the views. And this part, you can look down over the ocean floor and see how high up you actually are. And again, at night, you can see just how beautiful the solarium is. The Solarium Bistro is on deck 15, offers healthy, conscious dining. Most of it's free. There are some extra charges for lobster tail and things, but it's free for breakfast and lunch, and for dinner, just get a reservation. The attire here is smart casual, kind of has a spa-type atmosphere, but you have great views day or night from Solarium Bistro. And there is an escape room on Symphony of the Seas. Make sure you get a reservation. You have to be at least 14 years old in order to enter as well. And this is the card room or library where a lot of people will play games. You can use a computer to check your email or get on the internet as well. They also have some Sudoku and trivia for some of our cerebral cruisers. And right outside of that is the community bulletin board where you can post an announcement. Wonderland is a really creative idea by Royal Caribbean. It is an Alice in Wonderland inspired restaurant that has foods created with molecular gastronomy that look incredible and imaginative, and you could see just by the decor of the restaurant itself that it just feels like you are Alice in Wonderland. It does cost extra, but I highly encourage you to try it out at least one night on your cruise. We're going to move down a few more decks, but I wanted to show you some of the artwork in the stairwell. Every stairwell